Imagine never having to guess in sports betting ever again. Well, that's what I'm going to show you in this video. How you never have to be able to think about, is this a good bet that I'm about to place? Because you're about to know exactly if every single bet that you place is good or not. Now, sports betting used to take hours upon hours of research. I know because I was the one that would be doing it every single day. It would take me anywhere from 2 to 6 hours depending on how big the slate was. And to be honest with you, that's a lot of time that you got to commit to be able to find the right plays that are actually going to give you an edge, because there's a lot of checks that you have to go through. But imagine a world where all that comes together within seconds. Well, that's what I'm going to show you. How you could actually get all these answers and stop having to research for 2 to 6 hours upon every single day to literally seconds and having it at your fingertips. And again, never have to worry about if you're making a good bet or not. Because one of the biggest things is human error. You can go through hours and hours of research, but if you missed one step on accident just because something happened, guess what? That leaves you vulnerable to the numbers that you have down and the research that you did. And if you've missed something, then that could put you at a serious disadvantage. But I'm going to show you exactly what never misses on information and giving you the right results day in and day out. So let's go ahead and jump into it. This is the Linemaker AI, where you could literally type in anything that you want for any sport, any given matchup, literally anything. You could type anything into here that has to do with sports betting. It's not even just limited to sports betting. I mean, you could put in, if you wanted to play blackjack for fun and you're going to the casino with your boys or whatnot, and you just want to know basic strategy real quick, you could type in, give me the basic strategy for blackjack, and it'll literally pop it up. But this is the tool that will cut all of your research time. I mean, I would say in half, but more than in half. Like literally within seconds. And I'm going to share with you guys some of the stuff in here and show you exactly how it works as well. So what you can do as well, like there's a little shortcut here. So you can go to today's matchups and you can go through and ask the Linemaker AI just based off the matchups that it gives you on here. You can go and select the league of what league you want to look at. You can click on it and it'll tell you information on the game. But the key to doing this is putting the right prompts in here, okay? Because you have to be able to put the right information in to get the right information out, right? So I'm going to discuss with you guys some of the prompts that I use in certain sports and how this right here, like I said, is going to cut your time down like crazy. Within seconds. You're going to get the right information within seconds. Now first, let's start with a free play that I gave you guys that ended up winning, okay? Which was the first quarter total. Now, we went and did a alternate number here that was 47.5. The reason why we did that was because it was just too good to pass up. But when you went into the AI and you asked it, look, give me a breakdown of the first quarter total in the Thunders versus Spurs game 3. It didn't give us the number that we played, okay? It actually gave a better number and a better figure. And you're going to actually be shocked by what you see, what it actually produced. So it said right here, your top first quarter total recommendation would have been over 50.5, okay? A lot of people were asking, like, I'm getting certain numbers here and there. I can't get the exact 47.5. What if, I got 50.5 or whatnot? Well, the AI, like I said, literally tells you exactly what the edge is and if this makes sense or not. And it said right now that the number one first quarter alternate total would have been 50.5, which ended up clearing, okay? Next thing was on the opposite side. It gave an under alternate first quarter total as well at 58.5. So flipped it on us and gave us a 58.5 number that gave us an edge as well. Well, guess what? They ended up scoring 57 points in this first quarter, which means this play ended up winning, the under ended up winning, and then the third option they gave here was over 51.5. That ended up winning as well. All from literally a simple prompt of just saying, give me a breakdown of the first quarter total in the Thunder versus Spurs game 3. It's really that simple. Like, you don't have to get too elaborate with things and get the right information. But this type of information would have took me hours to be able to put together because I would have to find exactly all this stuff, the pace of play, the points that they score in each quarter. Like, it would take me time to figure out all this and to find the different edges between all these different lines. Whereas this literally happened within seconds. And it gave me literally a whole betting summary table of exactly what the edges were on these plays. And like I said, all these plays won. Didn't matter which one you choose. They all won. Now let's go ahead and get to the hockey game that was that night as well. So in the hockey game, I got a little more elaborate with what the prompt is here. If you guys see the prompt here, This is what I like to use as a utility prompt, okay? A utility prompt where I input this in there and then I change, who's playing in the game. And it pretty much spits out the best bets within that game of whatever game I put into it. So for the Golden Knights and Avalanche, it gave me, based off the Linemaker method, okay, Colorado Avalanche plus 2.5. Yes, the odds on this were pretty high, right? But we still actually had a 2% edge there. Okay, just because odds are high does not mean that we don't play them. If they have an edge, they have an edge. Now, if this was flipped and we had a negative edge here, we wouldn't have played that. But what happened? The Avalanche, they lost by 2. So this plus 2.5 ends up covering. Let's look at the total goals. Total goals alternate over 3.5. Yes, the odds, minus 800, are a little bit crazy, but guess what? So we still had a plus 1.3% edge there. And what happened? They scored 4 goals total. They went over that mark. Then we're going to individual players here being able to score a goal or not, where Brett Howden did not get a goal. We have a 3% edge there. Guess what? He didn't score a goal. Then we had the Colorado Avalanche's Valerie, I'll butcher his name, Nishishkin, under 1 goal, where we had, that's almost a break-even point, so it's almost like, you probably wouldn't even play that because of 0.2%. You probably wouldn't play that. But again, this one wins as well. What I'm showing you guys here is what spits out literally in seconds and causes you to not even lose. It's really that simple. Then let's go to William Karlsson to not get a goal. Again, the odds are high here, but what happens with look, these two right here had basically break-even edges. So you could choose to not even play those if you didn't want to, because it's not that big a deal. Like, you didn't have to, there's other options to be able to play. But this one won as well. They all won. And there's no arguing against this, because this would have took so much time to research to find all this information. Because I'm telling you right now, I used to have to go to website, to other websites, and then website, and website again and again. I'd have 30 tabs open on my laptop to do the right research for every single sport. When it's all condensed down to one thing, it makes it so much simpler. It's so easy to be able to use. And literally, like I said, this right here took 10 seconds for it to spit out this. Literally took 10 seconds. Now let's take a look at the OKC Thunder and the Spurs Game 3. So we already did that first quarter play that I gave you guys, and we ended up winning that, right? Well, now if we go in detail here of what's the best bets within this game, let's go ahead and take a look at this. It gave you OKC plus 11.5 on the alternate spread. That one easily won because OKC won outright. So that gave you a 6.4% edge in that play. The next one was the under 228.5 total points. So here's where sometimes you're going to lose. That's the way it goes. It's not going to be perfect. What I just showed you right now is about like 8 plays that ended up hitting. Well, yeah, you're going to get one that probably doesn't. This one barely missed. Really did. It barely missed. And this one ends up losing. So you have to understand that you're not going to win 100% of the time. Okay? All this does is save you time doing the research and gives you the right plays a quicker time. Because you could just do the research on your own, but it's going to take you, like I said, 2 to 6 hours. I know, because I'm the one that created all this and had to go through all this research. So you're going to lose sometimes, though. That's the way it goes. That's sports betting. Doesn't matter what you use. Your own research, AI research, you're going to lose sometimes. It's not going to be 100%. There's nothing out there that's 100% long term. You're not going to always win. Just the way it rolls. Next one was Isaiah Hartenstein to not get a double-double. He didn't even come anywhere close. That was a 7.5 edge there. That was perfect. Let's see, Keldon Johnson to get 1 3-point field goal. That was easy. I think he got that in like the first quarter. So again, a small edge there because the odds were pretty high. But regardless, still ends up winning. So again, like what I just showed you guys was a breakdown of 3 different bets. Well, more than 3 different bets. 2 different games, 3 different scenarios within that game. Okay, the first quarter total of all that, and then the individual games. You could do this with every single game. Legitly every single game that's on a slate, whether it be in the NBA, the NHL, anywhere. You could do ping pong. You could do Korean baseball. Any of that information you can get in here. You could break down any game. So now you're not limited to just the sports that you know. You don't need to even know anything about a sport. You just need to know how to type a right question in there. It's that simple. Okay? I don't know nothing about ping pong, but I guarantee you I could find some plays on ping pong that are going to actually end up winning just from using the Linemaker AI. So it's that simple. If you guys want to try and you guys want to see for yourself exactly how to use this, make sure you guys click the link in the description. Now, how do you know that this works? Well, first off, I just showed you exactly the results that it popped out and compared that to what happened in the game that it broke down. So you were able to see that. But look at all these other people here that literally are blowing up my feed, and I love it, with all the reviews on how good they're doing with the Linemaker AI and how they're winning constantly. If you want to be just like one of these people and you want one of your screenshots in one of the videos, make sure you guys click the link in the description to start your trial, so that way you could see exactly what it's like to stop guessing in sports betting and to actually start winning with a small amount of time and the littlest amount of work. As always, I'm Frank with Linemaker Sports. See you guys in the next video. Till then, I'm out.